Good evening, this is the Archetype reading for the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius, let's start with the reading. Your first sign that came up is this one. It's for the underworld and it is called the comic. The comic relates to the Joker, the clown, and also the fool. The comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. Even within deepest pain and suffering, there is always a potential to use laughter to solve problems. The comic is often seen as a lowbrow or unsophisticated person, but in truth, the comic has a highly advanced mind and can be viewed as a kind of genius. Humor is needed to see situations from a bit detached a position rather than to be swept away by drama. The comic is aware of the messiness of life and he shapes messiness to the soothing ingredient needed to relieve stress in the serious mind. The comic is literally speaking lighting us up, and there is usually the sage or the magician that works secretly their magic within the comic. The magician can heal anyone who is ready to listen, and the comic may be the archetype that heals the deep division in our world. One pun at a time. The comic has plenty of shade to throw on others, and it can fall into shadow at a drop of a hat. Be aware of the sharp claws. Joy, jokes, and smiles are signs of a happy heart. Be wary of spiritual practices or teachers without a bit of humor. When this card's meaning is light, it relates to hilarious, ingenious, spirited, and easygoing. When this card's meaning is dark, it relates to sarcastic, harsh, brooding, and sometimes even drunk. To go deeper, have the image of the laughing Buddha or a stand-up comedian as a good source of easygoing. Next card, Aquarius, is the card relating to your past, and this one here is called the vessel. The vessel is also related to the body, the container, and also the cup. The vessel may be the most powerful archetypal form on earth. It is everywhere. Cups hold liquid, stoves hold fire, our bodies hold organs, our homes hold families. Through the simple act of separation, the vessel protects what it contains. Nests protect the eggs, saving accounts protect our earnings, and even planets are contained within their circular orbit. When this card appears, it's time to assess what is being held together and how. Ask yourself, Aquarius, is the vessel too tight, or too loose, or even broken, or even empty, or is it full? Or perhaps there is no vessel at all and the contents spill in every direction. It is natural for structures to be formed and eventually they fall apart. The vessel has a life cycle that must be honored. Is it time for you, Aquarius, to build, break, or repair? Ask you these questions. You must find out. The physical body is the most sacred vessel of all there is, the one in which you reside from your first breath to your last. It may need more attention. The mentor and the healer must pay particular attention to this archetypal form. Healing cannot be sustained without a strong container. When this card's meaning is light, it relates to stable, strong, and graceful. When this card's meaning is dark, it relates to trapped, being in a bubble. To go deeper, listen to Loving Cup by the Rolling Stones. Next card, this one here, relates to heaven, and it's called the thread. So Aquarius, this is the card, the thread, and it relates to the path, the vein, and the circuit. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and leaves us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distraction. When we connect to the energy of the thread, we strike the deepest vein in our body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream, and our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, or a conversation. Heard in passing. A conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tied to it is the only anchor our heart requires. You may think you have to find a thread and pull it. Imagine that it is already tied around you, waiting for you to follow it home. Recall a moment in your life when you felt fully alive. The thread is waiting for you amid the details of that memory. When this card meaning is light, it relates to the circuit of meaning within chaos. When this card's meaning is dark, it relates to binding and frustrating. To go deeper, look at the sculptures of Eva Hesse. Now we come to the card relating to your future. And the card relating to your future, Aquarius, is called a sword. And the sword is the knife, the blade, and also the weapon. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourselves. We must make these cuts again and again if we care to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. The sword's blade separates our reality one from the other. If you find a sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Contemplate the Buddhist philosophy of the first And second, error. When the card's meaning is light, it relates to cutting through to what is essential. When the card's meaning is dark, it relates to hasty backstabbing, a dull and painful blade. To go deeper, see Caravaggio's painting Judith beheading Holofernes and Marina Abramovich's Rhythm series. Now the last card for your spread, Aquarius, is called the Self. And the Self for you here is the Creator. The card of the Creator relates to artist, the alchemist, and also the innovator. The Creator is the first archetype in the trio of existence, and he or she is not intimidated by darkness or by lack. An artist knows that from the void, creation emerges. The Creator creates new things with meager, minimal, and simple materials. The Creator is able to make an empty room resonate with a healing sound, and he creates beautiful new things from the seeds that others tossed away without thinking twice. This archetype does not believe in preconceived notions of restrictions of any kind. The Creator is absolutely present and trusting in the force greater than him or herself for creation. Call it nature, call it God, goddess, Shakti, or divinity. The Creator's lifelong companion remains nameless. To increase your Creator energy, ward off jadedness at all cost. Recommit to your childlike curiosity. The Creator is naturally attractive because his or her energy expresses the possibility you can feel when the Creator enters a room. Then all eyes are on the Creator. When this card's meaning is light, it relates to curiosity, playfulness, to be open and expect surprises. When this card's meaning is dark, it relates to feeling burdened and feeling losses of the needed sparks to create. And to go deeper, read Vincent van Gogh's letters to his brother Theo. So, Aquarius, this was your archetype reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening, and please come back next time when I do another reading for your sign. Have a wonderful evening and goodbye.